Well, let's understand the law of sine and the law of cosine, or the law of sin. Okay, so the law of sine tells us that A over sine A is equal to B over sine B, which will therefore be equal to C over sine C. So in this video, I'm going to attempt to explain what's happening with the laws, and afterwards we can talk about, or I'll make another video on some examples. So this will be angle C, C. So what this necessarily mean is, in a non-right triangle, what I mean by that is we don't have a right angled triangle. So if that's the case, well, then we need to use the law of sine. So when can I use the law of sine? So let's make some notes. When can I use it? Well, I can use it if I'm looking for a missing angle. If I'm looking for a missing angle, in this case, I need to use B and B. So how do I find the positions of big B and small b? That's what I call them, big B and small b. Well, the angle will always be across from the side. So if you notice the pattern, you can see big B, small b, big A, small a, and big C and small c. C referring to the angle and small c referring to the side. So I can use this when I have two sides and one angle, provided, so let's add provided I have the side of the missing angle. So provided I have the sine of the missing angle. So let's put that into a picture. Let's say I have 2, 4, I have 60, and I need to find this angle. Well, in this case, I have the side of the missing angle, and I have another angle and a side. So then we can use the law of sine. Okay, so that's the idea. What about the law of cosine? So the law of cosine is a little bit longer. So it simply says that a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc sine a. So what's important to notice here is that this value will always be equal to, or the side and the angle will always match in the beginning, at the end of the law of cosine. Inside is just going to be a duplicate. So BC, BC. So when do we use this one? Well, let's say we have big A, big B, small b, big C, and small c. Let's say I have angle B being, let's say 3.4, C being 2. I have A in this case is, let's say A is equal to 70. Well, now I can use the law of sine, or law of cosine, to find angle A. So how would that look? Well, it would look something like this. B squared is just going to be 3.4 squared plus C squared, in this case, is just going to be C squared is going to be 2 squared minus 2, 3.4, 2 cosine, excuse me, not sine, I made a little bit of a mistake here, cosine A, which is going to be 70. And then to find this, we can just square root, let's call all of that, let's call it y. Let's set this equal to y. This is a calculus concept, u substitution, but now I'm using a y substitution. So a would then be the square root of y if y is this entire equation. So that's the idea. So when do we use the law of sine or law of cosine? Well, we use the law of cosine to find a missing side, provided we have that angle of the missing side. So let's make here provided we have the angle of the missing side, we have the angle of the missing side, and we have two other sides. Then I can use the law of cosine. Now sometimes you will be required to first use the law of cosine and then use the law of sine. But you can match it around. But it's very important to identify these conditions. Once you identify the conditions, this becomes very easy.